seen anything like that. Wide right.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go in the end zone. He's going to go in the end zone. The Bears have won. The Bears have won. Oh, my God. You believe in miracles? Yes.
It's the Davey Mac Sports Program, where we talk the sports and other stuff like cartoons. Speaking of which, hey Dave, what's SpongeBob SquarePants' legal government name?
I don't know.
Sponge Robert SquarePantalones. I'm Bobby Sponge Brain Tamburro, and here's the host of your show, Eastside David McDonald, everybody.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much, Robert. And yeah, we have a very special show because we have legends on the program that the YouTube audience can see right now live, and we're not going to hesitate to get with them. We all know that Roy Harter, the musical director of the Davey Mac Sports Program, is still on the mend after a brutal neck surgery, and he is okay. We got more updates from Roy that his recovery is coming very slowly, but he is sure that he's going to get there. He says he really misses us, Robert. Can you believe that?
I believe he missed you.
When he wrote that to me, I said, listen, Morphine Drip, stop lying. I said, don't worry. Whenever you're able to come back, you can come back, Roy Harter. We all love you. The entire audience loves you. But for now, we wanted to get some very special guests to help us out with Roy's absence. And today, by God, let me introduce to you the greatest video game official, referee, gamekeeper, scorekeeper, record keeper, musician, and star of a Netflix documentary, Walter Day. Round of applause.
I am honored.
Sitting next to Walter, one of the great video game players of the 1980s, a man who is good friends with Mr. Mitchell, a man who has compassion, morality, decency, a family man. He's not just great with the video games, he's great with life. I want you to put it together for Steve Sanders. This is incredible.
Now, I've got a problem with this compassion, morality, and decency. Did you not understand that I'm Billy's friend? I'm sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
Wait. Also,
yes.
Didn't you realize you're talking about a lawyer and all those things?
I know him. And also, Robert, the names are wrong, you goddamn son of a bitch. Put him Walter Day, Steve Sanders, and Billy Mitchell in that order because that's how they're sitting. And finally, last but not, just change it. No little fucking quip is necessary. Thank you. And finally, the GOAT, the video game, the King of Kings. Triple H has nothing on this man. The Undertaker has nothing on this man. Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker have nothing. Godzilla is jealous of the giganticism, which is Billy Mitchell. And the three of you are in Los Angeles in a hotel room looking like rock stars, superstars, doing what? Go ahead, Bill.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, we just do this each weekend. But this particular weekend, we're here at Long Beach at the Independent Arts Theater, and we did California's premiere of Arcades and Love Songs, The Ballad of Walter Day, the story of Walter Day's life, and it premiered here in Long Beach, and of course, it was an awesome success.
The reason everybody...
Go ahead,
I was just going to say the reason everybody has to see this movie is because this is the next step in the King of Kong cinematic universe.
Yeah, so we talked to you guys a while ago, but now the movie's really taking off, and it's getting close also to the release on Netflix, so we thought we would have you back. But we weren't expecting Billy and Steve and Walter. This is fantastic. The name of the movie is Arcades and Love Songs. It's going to be right now. It's premiering all over Hollywood. It's going to be hitting the Man's Chinese Theater probably the most famous movie theater in the world. If you were going to say, what's one movie theater that is the absolute castle of all movie theaters, it's Mann's Chinese Theater. That's where they debuted Star Wars in 77 with lines around the blocks, the news coverage, everything. And you guys are going to be premiering that in just days.
And on April 17th, it's going to be a double feature. It's going to be The King of Kong and Arcades and Love Songs on Thursday, April 17th.
Oh, my
then
God.
The 18th,
That's
19th,
great.
and 20th, it'll be Arcades and Love Songs the following 3 days.
The reason this happened, Dave, is because someone who's on the team for the distributorship company that's putting the movie out there, they were a devoted King of Kong fan, and so they managed to influence the Mann's Chinese Theater people to run these two films together. So it was really by an incredible stroke of divine karma, in a sense, that we couldn't count on, but it happened, and it's almost like out of the clear blue. So,
And Dave, I want to just comment for your audience. I'm sure there are some folks watching this that have never seen The King of Kong, never heard of The King of Kong, and they're thinking, why would I want to watch a documentary about Donkey Kong? Well, you wouldn't, except that the guys who made this, actually both these movies, are Academy Award winners. One of their movies is called Undefeated, and won an Academy Award, and they know how to put a story together. So for those that have not seen King of Kong, surprisingly, you might actually like that movie, and of course, obviously the new one, Arcades and Love Songs.
But if you've seen one and not the other, each one you could view independently and understand the story very well.
Correct.
King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters is one of, if not the greatest documentary of all time. I'm sorry. I got obsessed with it all those years ago as soon as I saw it. And then I made the contacts. I reached out to the Billy. We've had Steve Sanders up at Sirius XM, talked to Walter Day a few times. I was honored by Walter Day with a trading card. And by the way, Steve Sanders, I'm seeing you're wearing a Donkey Kong shirt. So you're representing. Do you still play? Do you still compete? Or, because we know Billy is still out there rolling up the sleeves and, fighting out with these youngsters.
Yeah, Steve plays every day. He just can't keep up.
I'm totally resting on my laurels, Dave. I am the original King of Kong, and that's good enough for me.
Actually, Dave, he's still defending his 3 million point score on Donkey Kong.
Can we discuss that since you're here, Steve? I love that story because because when you watch the King of Kong, you can't get mad at Steve Sanders. He got the little blonde hair, the windbreaker. He's wearing the windbreaker. He looks so innocent. And the whole story was that you kind of probably got around 300,000, but you sent it to Walter Day and Twin Galaxies that it was 3 million.
So the all-time high score for myself on arcade Twin Galaxies settings is 550 some odd thousand.
Wow. Oh, that's excellent.
That's a big deal.
I had my own machine at home when I wrote the book back in 1982, and putting it on 7-man score with the original Donkey Kong chip, which was a little bit easier than then ultimately the second chip that is now considered the Twin Galaxies tournament settings. So 7-man, easy chip. I got to the kill screen back in June of 82. And that's when between the book and between that score, the Kansas City Star did an article on me called The King of Kong. But here's the point about the 3 million. I saw another person submit a score higher than mine to Walter's Arcade. And at age 17, being young and stupid and greedy and having, I didn't want to lose my status, so to speak. I chose to submit false scores to Walter. And historically now we know, in the past, looking back at the past, we now know that there were multiple people that were submitting higher scores to Walter. All of those scores, 5, 6, 7, 8 scores, were above the current actual world record set by Robbie Lakeman. So, that's how it kept escalating, and finally I put like a 3 million score in. Anyway, bad mistake, youthful stupidity, and I'm sorry it ever happened.
And Billy forgave you.
I took it as flattery that the only way he could beat me was to invent a score.
Yeah.
So I was very flattered by it, actually.
And you two have remained friends since then. What we were led to believe in the King of Kong doc is an unholy alliance and an evil axis of video game Machiavellians, Steve Sanders and Billy Mitchell.
Well,
the Sith of the video game galaxy.
Yeah, well, they were trying to paint us in a good light. If you knew the real story, you'd be scared.
It's so much worse. It's so much worse. I mean, Walter and Billy and I pooled our funds together. We had the King of Kong made for us. It cost us millions of dollars, and the whole thing was scripted from the beginning. So that's the real true story.
No, I know. And you guys play it off well. I mean, but the movie's fantastic. I cannot wait. What's the actual date of when it hits Netflix? You know, by the way, I'm actually calling certain people, certain VIPs right now. I'm getting my jet out to the Mann's Chinese Theater in Los Angeles to attend the premiere. I will be. I was told by Walter and Billy and Steve that I was allowed a +1, and so Robert, you're not invited. I'm bringing my pillow. I'm bringing my favorite pillow.
Oh no!
But the point is, I'm going to be there for you guys. I'm getting on the Learjet tomorrow. Now, when does it hit, though, after the Mann's Chinese Theater? When does it hit Netflix? That's what our
April
audience...
17th is the Mann's Chinese Theater, and if the Netflix has been actually scheduled yet, I've not heard it. What do you guys know?
We don't tell him anything.
Well, we know that it's destined to be on video on demand, like real soon in May. I think it's May, so that is definitely happening. And
okay, so the movie's going to hit Netflix. It might be a little bit more down in the springtime. It might be more towards the May or June, since it's still in movie theaters right now.
But it's inserted in there somehow with the process of VOD happening.
But it will be hitting Netflix, correct?
I believe so.
Okay. Yes. Okay. And then your opinion here, since you've been in the business, everyone's thought is, since it has this great score of Mann's Chinese Theater, it's going to cause other so-called equivalents in larger cities like New York to say, "Hey, we should show that movie as well." So we think from that point, the tour is going to pick up big time.
Yeah, Listen, I mean, you got to have you got to have this tour. First of all, you're getting video game legends galore. You're getting Billy Mitchell, the GOAT of all video games, and I don't care what these little weasels and cockroaches and say on YouTube. We don't care. We don't. Walter and Steve, you know us. We don't. We just like to tell it like it is, just like you guys. And we know it all stems from a case of jealousy, because they're not in pixels, because they're not in the movies, because they're not getting multiple documentaries and MTV episodes shot on them, because Billy and Walter and Steve, quite frankly, have achieved more.
And they're not on the Davey Mac show. They're not on the Davey Mac show.
They're not here.
When we publish all our future PR stuff about this, I'm quoting you. Don't worry about the weasels and cockroaches. This is Davey Mac.
Walter, I got way harder hitting stuff than that. If you need, I will run down. I will run down all these little rats for you guys. I myself am the greatest wrestling manager in New Jersey. The last 8 years, I've been working for the IWF, the Independent Wrestling Federation.
Wow.
And my thing is, my thing is, go ahead.
You also look like Conor McGregor.
My thing is, I take my wrestling manageability and I apply it to Billy and Walter and Steve. I am also the world's first ever video game manager. Not that I'm going to book you for arcades. I'm saying I am going to cut promos on all of your rivals for you. I'm going to make sure that you sleep well at night, because I'm going to play mind games with your enemies until the end of time.
I love it.
For all
That's
three
incredible. You're like a gift. You're like a gift from God for us.
Now,
Hey, Dave, can I make a comment about our enemies?
Yeah,
because
please.
Walter and Billy and I talk about this all the time. From our perspective, we don't have any enemies. But from the perspective of certain people, they declare themselves to be our enemies, and it's like really interesting to us.
Yeah, why?
Always based on jealousy too. Always based on jealousy too.
it's so glaringly obvious that it's jealousy. I mean, there would be no other reason to get obsessed. We say it all the time. Billy Mitchell scored 900,000 points in that Life magazine photo shoot where you guys were playing live in the early 80s. You got like 900,000 that day.
Pretty close,
like
yeah.
880,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
The point being, that is good enough. If he got that 40 years ago in front of a live audience with Life magazine there documenting the whole thing, this is a man who's capable of scoring 1 million points and more.
Well, not only that,
cheater.
Dave, I've got a comment about what you just said about 40 years ago.
Please.
Because people that are coming to Donkey Kong and coming to video games during the last 25 years, it's difficult to sort of put your mindset back into what it was like in the early 80s. There was no internet. There was no YouTube. There was no way to like watch other people's games on Twitch or any of that. If you could get to the end of a classic arcade game in the year 1981, 1982, 1983, you were pretty darn good because you were basically on your own.
Absolutely. You guys are like the Apollo astronauts of video games. And that's the problem, is that people all know Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but they can't name all the astronauts who are doing stuff today, because when the pioneers are always going to be mega famous. They're always going to be the ones who get some praise, deservedly so. They're inventing it all. I mean, Billy, how the hell? 800,000 points 40 years ago. Now, like, were you guys playing Donkey Kong? Like, how often, Bill, Steve, were you guys actually playing to the point where you could get on that Life photo shoot and put up crazy scores?
Probably 6 to 8 hours a day.
6 to 8 hours. And you were using, because you weren't rich, so did you go to the arcade, and how much money would you think you were spending?
Well, we'd go to the arcade, and a quarter with a token would last you about 2 or 3 hours. So,
hey, Dave,
I forgot who I was talking to.
In those days, Dave, kids didn't own their own games at home. It was all a devotion in the arcade of putting quarters in one at a time. So it was an incredible commitment of money, time, and effort, and genius.
You know, we have a place down here in Jersey, right on the boardwalk. Actually, it's a cool place. It's called the Silver Ball Pinball Museum and Arcade.
Oh yeah,
and they
we sort of know it.
Yeah, they have a collection of pinball machines that are really fantastic, and just like old school, like early 1960s, air hockey stuff like that. But they also have a row of your classic 1980s video games in addition to the pinball. I've tried playing Donkey Kong, and by the way, it's free play, so I love it. I wish you guys would go there one day. We should all meet up. That would be fun. But anyway,
maybe when the movie premieres in the area, we could meet there.
Yeah, we should definitely meet. You guys would love it. You could walk around. They got a slice of pizza and a pretzel.
One more point about free play. I'm going back to this comment about, Twitch and YouTube and watching other people today. And by the way, MAME, how you can, you can do the settings on MAME to do all kinds of crazy stuff. I would challenge anybody watching this podcast, if you have not ever played Donkey Kong before, then just do something at either a free play arcade or maybe use MAME to do free play and get all 7 men. Just don't watch anybody else and don't use any special settings to do any kind of cheats. Just do 7-man Donkey Kong and play it again and again as much as you want for 2 weeks and see how high you get.
I could only get to, I think level 4 is literally level 4 or maybe level 5 was the absolute highest. I was always way better at Pac-Man. I don't know what that says about me. I couldn't do Donkey Kong. Because how many levels are in Donkey Kong?
117.
117, yeah.
117, and my best outing was level 4.
Right.
My best was
terrible, guys.
was 3 million and one, Dave. You're not gonna believe it. I scored 3 million and one.
Mine was 3 million and two, Robert. So I'm.
Oh damn!
That was good, Robert. That was really good.
Billy,
By the way,
you're Donkey Kong legend, you're Pac-Man legend, you're Ms. Pac-Man legend. Any other games for the Bill Man?
Centipede,
Ooh.
I didn't know this
Burger Time.
about you.
Burger Time,
Burger Time.
Donkey Kong Jr., both world records in one weekend or one day. Fix It Felix. Those are all the games that have had world records, or you had them, you lost them, you try to get them back, you go back and forth.
Wait, so you were put in Pixels as a little character, or wait, Wreck-It Ralph.
Literally.
You were put in Pixels as played by Peter Dinklage, but then in Wreck-It Ralph, you were also given a shout out in that movie too. And the character Fix It Felix, he went on to actually have a video game, and you mastered that as well?
Yeah. It's funny. They put out the first two machines, and they wanted me to play against a guy in the Pacific Northwest, is all they told me. So I showed up at a particular arcade in Miami where it was linked together. Lo and behold, I was playing against Steve Wiebe. No joke. So then when I played and I won, there was complaints from his side that the machine wasn't working right and they wanted a rematch.
Come on, Mr. Wiebe.
So I said,
let's not do that.
So I said, no, there'll be no rematch. I said, I already won. I said, but I'll play him again. I'll beat him again. And so we met again the next Saturday, and I won again. I kill screened it. But
That's awesome.
But I told them the price was I got to keep the machine, which they allowed me to do. But I watched out for Steve. I said he gets to keep the machine too. He still has the machine. Last I checked.
Look at you. Look at Mr. Gentleman, Mr. Chivalry over here.
Yeah,
think about how meta that is.
Just don't tell anybody. Just don't tell anybody I was nice, because it's not good for me.
I know. I don't want to break kayfabe. We always have to pretend like you're an SOB. I get it, but think about how meta that is. Like in terms of fame, Billy becomes such a huge video game player that his character gets put in a huge Disney animated movie, Wreck-It Ralph. Then, based on the success of that movie, they put out a video game, and then the actual Billy Mitchell masters that video game. That's why they're jealous of you guys. Don't you see?
Yes, but I've actually been in a bigger movie yet, a bigger premiere yet. I'm actually a lead role, not the star, but a lead role in Walter's Days Arcade and Love Songs.
Hell yeah, let's talk about it. Walter, this is going to be about your your music career. And from what I've heard, it sounds fantastic. You sound like a young Bob Dylan to me.
Oh, that's kind of you to say that. So essentially, just to summarize the story for everybody to think about, 40 years ago, I had a glamorous girlfriend. And one night she called up and said, I secretly have been seeing a friend of yours, and I want to be free to go off to be with him. Anyway, I was completely brokenhearted. And within weeks, I started having the experience of music come up into my head and my heart. Original songs with hooks and melodies and lyrics and harmonics. And I fell in love with the music, and I was completely fixated with the music. And I vowed that I wanted the rest of the world to hear this music, and that someday, even though I'm not a singer and I have a terrible voice, I would get up on the stage and sing those songs and play those songs so the rest of the world could hear it. Anyway, 20 years later, The King of Kong was made, and 2005. And the producers that were intrigued by the fact that I had all this music, so they put the music, I don't know if you remember this or not, they put the music in The King of Kong, and I talked avidly about the music in my hopeful future plans to someday produce the music. And anyway, The King of Kong went out and became a big success. Then 20 years later, I was at an event, and a millionaire walked out of the crowd, recognized me and Billy from The King of Kong, and talked to us, and then talked to me about my music. And on the spot, they decided that they were going to put the money up and actually produce my album and bring my music to life.
Wow.
When the guys who made The King of Kong heard that this was happening, they suddenly realized, we got to make a movie out of this about a man who never gave up his dream. And at the end of his days, at 75, was still going to get up there on the stage and sing his music.
You know, when I look at you guys, I see geniuses. I see people who I aspire to be. Billy, for me, Roy Harter looks up to you, Walter. You know, Roy is a talented musician, but unfortunately, he doesn't have millionaires throwing thousands and thousands of dollars at him and getting a record made. And I see Robert looking up to Steve Sanders in terms of being a decent moral human. Robert currently is failing at that, Steve.
Hey, guys, you're being very kind, but I want to say something about genius. The guys who made this movie are genius. This is a very well-made movie. The production quality is high. The film editing is off the charts. It is a fantastic story. Despite the fact that Walter and Billy and I are in it, it is a fantastic movie. Very watchable, very enjoyable.
It's very fun. It's very fun. People laugh at thing after thing after thing because it's rich with humor, and by the time I get on the stage, I actually have a passable voice, don't I? So,
wow. So we will be hearing your music in the film.
Here's the most important thing for your viewership to know. Okay, I know you're national, but also you have a strong following in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
The producers have a budget, and they have vowed that this will have a premiere in New York City, not just the general area.
I'm going
in New York City, so we're going to make sure that you're there.
First of all, I am dead serious on this. Not only am I going, but if we could get you guys somehow to Long Island, if Roy Harter is healthy, if he's healthy, and we cut a couple songs, me on drums, Roy on keyboards, Walter on guitars, and I don't know if Billy and Steve play anything, you guys are welcome to. Or yeah, I was gonna say, you guys just play Donkey Kong and Pac-Man and on stage with me, Walter. We could be me, Roy, and I will be your backup band. Okay, you understand?
All right. Well, let's see how it works out. Okay.
Look at me as Robbie.
That's a no.
a cold no. Let me tell you something, my friend. Okay, look at me as Robbie Robertson. Okay, look at me as Levon Helm and Roy as Robbie Robertson. The band, you're Dylan.
I love it.
Okay.
People don't even realize that the band was called the Jayhawks before they started hanging out and backing up Bob Dylan, and he called them the band.
Well, here it is. This is Southside Steve. This is Southside Billy, and I'll be Southside Walter, and with the Southsides.
I love this. But even if you can't get to Long Island, I got to get to that movie premiere.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Walter's channeling his inner Boston. He thinks he's a Southie. I don't know what's going on.
Don't tell her from Boston who know the Red Sox fan.
Now, do you guys want to field any questions from the audience? We have
absolutely.
We have no questions from Big A or Roy, because we thought they sometimes get a little carried away and ask Billy some strange questions. So this first one is from Andrew from Queens. Now I'm hoping it's not. Okay, it says Scott Safran is one of the best asteroid players of all time.
Absolutely.
The part two of the question is, and this is Andrew from Queens, says, who is Scott Safran of hemorrhoids because my butt hurts?
I think it's basically the same guy.
I'm not sure we should read any more of these questions if they're going to be like this, Robert.
Okay,
Robert. This is Robert. You need to look. You want him, Billy?
Yeah.
He wants the questions. Okay, this is all right. This is from Mitch. And this is Mitch at a Point Pleasant. So he's by my area. When I was younger, I enjoyed Dig Dug. When I ran out of quarters, though, I would just dig tunnels in my yard. Do you think that's what's happening with the tunnels they found in New York City?
Well, let me go back to what you originally said. He's right nearby you, and I'm glad he's nearby you and not by me.
Here's one from Eugene. From the Bronx, it says, Pole Position is a classic made by Namco, but I strongly prefer the pole position of Sapphire, my favorite stripper at Savannah's. You know what, guys? No more questions. No more questions. No, the audience, you're done? This is a classy show.
Yeah, that's Walter's department.
Yeah.
Walter comments on Namco at least. Let's just forget about the rest of the question. Anyone ever play Namco? My favorite old school game, retro game, I guess. What do you guys call them? You call them retro games, classic games? What do we call them? What's the proper use?
Classic games.
Classic or some people say arcade games.
All right. My favorite classic game, I would say, is also Ms. Pac-Man, Billy. That's one where when I was a child, I actually had to go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital for a sickness that I kind of made up. And yeah, I just didn't want to go to school for a couple of weeks and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. So then they really they just went overboard and put me in and I was just fine. You know why? They had a Ms. Pac-Man right there on the wing for us kids. And that's a game, Bill, that I could get to 20. Remember, I told you how bad it was at Donkey Kong?
Right.
I got 25 levels in with that one. Now, how many levels have you?
I want to comment on that. First of all, I'm skeptical that you got past 21 levels. 20, okay. 21, okay, 20. 20, I'll give you 20.
At 21, it hits maximum difficulty.
Yeah, and my comment earlier about I challenge anybody to play Donkey Kong without watching anybody else, I'll give you a year on Ms. Pac-Man. Play on the slow original chip. Don't watch anybody else how to play it. Just learn yourself how to do it. Free men, free play again and again. Play for a whole year, and I'll bet you can't get to level 23.
And what goes on at level 23? I mean, it sounds like the Shining or something, like the old woman in the bathtub.
I want you to understand that Bill got to level 136. So, I mean, that game is impossible. That might have been the hardest classic arcade game of all time.
Okay, time out. I've got a hot take. I feel like Pac-Man is harder than Ms. Pac-Man.
No.
I'm wrong about that?
You're totally wrong about that. You are totally wrong.
No, I see your point, depending how you play. But both of them reach maximum difficulty at level 21. And what I've done before is I've had a room full of 10 people. And I say, everybody gets one shot, one man. Just do one board without dying. Any one of the 10 of you, and all 10 win a free drink. Okay? And not one person can do it. It does get that difficult.
The reason I say Ms. Pac-Man is so much harder, let's say on Pac-Man, you play and you play and you play and you play, and finally you figure out, I now know how to get past level 21. I can do it. I've done it. I can do it again. Here's the thing. If that's who you are, if that's true, you've got past level 21 and you know how to do it, well, then you can get all the way to level 256. All you have to do is keep doing the same thing over and over again in Pac-Man, and you'll get all the way to the end. On Ms. Pac-Man, even if by some miracle you got past level 21, good luck on level 22. Good luck, because it ain't going to happen.
I like this. I'm very much now going to go to Silver Ball today and play some So I guess I thought Ms. Pac-Man was easier because there was more stuff like fruits and things.
Here's one comment.
Perhaps in the earlier levels you'd be correct.
Yeah. And I am referring to the original Ms. Pac-Man, where Ms. Pac-Man, the character, is slower than the ghosts. There is a version that we called Turbo Chip, where Ms. Pac-Man just screams through the entire screen. That is a much easier version of the game.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. That's fair. Holy
mackerel. That's what all the jealous people play.
Correct.
Now, Bill, what's up next for you, Bill? I mean, right now it's all about the movie premiere. And again, we got to give the shout outs, arcades and love songs.
Yes, the Ballad of Walter Day. It's never too late.
The Ballad of Walter Day. Go see it in your theater or ask your movie theater, hey, are you getting this film? Because the film sounds tremendous. It's won a whole bunch of awards at film festivals. And I mean, my God, King of Kong was such a great documentary. And no one thought 20 years later we'd be getting a, semi sequel. It's in the universe. It's in the King of Kong cinematic universe.
Yeah,
That's
they're calling it a cousin of King of Kong.
Right. And like I said before, the Chasing Ghosts is kind of like a little bit of a cousin, because that gives you all the more people from, the mid to late 80s, which I appreciate, because you guys are like the Beatles. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Now, Billy.
He's Yoko Ono.
I was going to give that label to Robert, okay? No one's breaking up you three. You guys are like the NWO of video game guys. You're Hogan and the Hall and Nash. But anyway, how are things with are any of these jealous sycophants? They're not giving you any problems, are they? Are all of your problems with these little these little weasels, are they behind you, or do we have any updates that you want to give?
You mean, have they gotten an ass whipping? Yeah, they have.
Good.
But I'm gonna about 36 hours from now, I'll have some news for you. How about that?
Oh, baby.
So we'll have fun.
36 hours.
News from down under.
Oh, that's right. A big deal's happening April 1st. Big deal.
You're not going to be playing any jokes on us, are you?
Of course. you don't know it. It might be another movie. We'll see.
I'm getting.
I was just going to say, you actually should have him on the show April 1st so he can announce with you. You can be the medium for announcing his incredible thing.
Anytime you want to do, even if you just want to pop in for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, anytime you ever want to do the show. Now, I was told you guys only had a half an hour with us, but are you still hanging out?
We're still hanging out.
So far, we're waiting on breakfast.
Okay, no, good. I know. I'm so happy you are.
Well, what was funny was he had called me a few times over the years.
Yeah.
And I had just picked up the phone and I talked live while he was on the air.
Yeah.
So then I'm in New Jersey one time and I go, let me find this guy. And so I managed to look it up and I called the studio saying, hey, man, I'm in town. I could just walk in his studio and do a show. Mm-hmm. So I thought I'd just bust the door down and go. Lo and behold, him and his partner they're on vacation. So there's no show. Then I get a phone call and the call comes in. Oh, they're coming back from vacation. They want to do a show tonight with you. So that's how I got on the show the first time.
That's true. That was when I was doing Special Delivery starring Sam and Dave on Sirius XM, and Sam Roberts was my radio partner. And I made that decision. I said, listen, Billy wants to do the show. I know we're on vacation. Screw vacation. Get in the studio. The Bill man wants to be there. And I think, Steve, you may have also you were at Sirius XM once or twice too.
Yeah, 2011, Billy and I were I can't recall if Walter was there. Was Walter there with us? Billy and I were there in the studio in 2011.
And that's when Billy brought in the Pac-Man machine, and you actually hid at one point in the corner. The little Pac-Man hid, and none of the ghosts tried to eat you. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
That's right.
Yeah. No, that's when you first met my son and all that kind of stuff.
You know how people react like a football team or a basketball team when they see David Blaine do some sort of magic trick? And they think, yeah, that's how I was acting, Robert. When Billy did that Pac-Man trick, I was like, oh my God! Oh! What's happening? What the hell is happening, yo? Yeah, that's kind of, I mean, I had never seen anything like that before.
It's incredible.
The fun fact about that 2011 show, Billy and I both brought our sons. He brought his son, Bill the Fourth. I brought my son, Josiah. Bill the Fourth is in the movie, the new movie. Josiah is in the new movie. And Josiah was also a field producer and additional cameraman on the movie. So It's kind of fun that, the boys that we brought to your show end up being in this new movie.
That is so cool. And can I just, Walter, I'm not saying to give me a spoiler, but is this going to be a happy ending? Because I need a little sunshine in my life. I've had clouds in my life for a long time now.
Are you back on the whole stripper pole question again? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I need some sunshine in my life too, Steve.
Oh, no, it's completely happy. It's very, very positive. In fact, they gave it a standing ovation at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So, but I want to do an aside for you. I loved your mad gesticulation when you were explaining how you respond to Billy. Some of my favorite responses to Billy, I just have to bring up, for instance. One time we're at Dragon Con around 2017, and Dragon Con's in Atlanta, and there's 75,000 people there, all dressed up in costume. And people were coming out of the clear blue just complimenting and congratulating Billy that, wow, you really nailed it. You even look like Billy Mitchell.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy goes, dude, you got him down. Man, you're him. Man, dude, you got it down.
That's so funny. How did he not, how was he not?
The thing is, I take a picture and I do this and I do that. Man, that's it. Guy's got the best outfit. And he walks away, and Walter goes, "You're not going to tell him who you are?" I go, "No, forget it."
but then when we're at Gen Con in Indianapolis, this guy's going nuts. He says, "Oh man, it's unbelievable," because it's cosplay. People are dressed up in cosplay. You know what that is. And the guy's going wild. Says, "It's unbelievable. You even look like Keanu."
I swear.
We made a trading card that says, with Billy's picture on it, that says, "He is not Keanu."
Now, one of my favorite ones. I'm in line at Sam's Club, and I'm just sitting there, and there's a guy behind me, and the guy goes, "Dude, you got awesome freaking hair, man." And I just looked at him and smiled. He goes, "I'm not kidding." I thought that Pac-Man guy had hair, but you got him beat. I go, "Oh yeah, I whip his ass," I says. And my wife goes,
"Time out. Where is this? In Florida? Is this in Florida? Yeah, come on. This only could happen in Florida. Someone and
my wife goes,
complimenting your hair."
Yeah, my wife goes, "Aren't you going to tell him who you are?" And I go, "No, it's fine. He's having fun." So
I had a guy run into me the other day at the supermarket and go, "Eastside Dave," and I go, "Hey man," and that's it. That's all I do these days. I give a little thumbs up, just like you, Bill. "Hey man." Yeah. And then I'm on my way because I had some frozen pizza to buy. You see, I was very important things were to be done that day
with the Walter Day movie sauce.
By the way, I got to get my hand on that kind of hot sauce. I got the Billy over here, the King of Kong over here. I got the thing over there. I got all kinds of stuff, but I got to get that Walter Day hot sauce now.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Now, I put that thing on my popcorn, by the way.
Yeah, so
that's what I do. All right, let me ask a question here. Steve Sanders?
Yes,
Were you ever jealous of Billy? Yeah, we're going to get into some hard questions now.
You can tell from the hair.
I wouldn't describe it as a jealous relationship. We started talking on the telephone before the Life magazine show. Walter was the one that said, "Hey, you're both Donkey Kong players. You ought to talk to each other." And so I think Bill called me first. I'm not sure, but we were talking on the phone a lot during the summer of '82. And then when we had that head-to-head match at Life magazine, I sort of knew that obviously the jig was up as far as my lying was concerned. I was caught red-handed, so to speak. But we've been friends ever since. We were friends before Life magazine. We've been friends ever since Life magazine.
You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Okay.
Thank you.
Phone calls were rough back then. You talk on the phone for an hour, it'd be $60.
Correct.
I mean, it wasn't like today.
Correct.
Now, are you guys aware that I'm considered in my own mind by my mother, I'm considered to be the best Mario Kart player in the world. Now I know. Yeah. Now I know it's not a classic game, but at the same time, if you guys ever find yourself in New Jersey looking for a thing to do, you come over to the Dave Man's house. We'll play Mario Kart for 4 straight hours.
Well, we were in another film called Token Taverns. It's a great film. Talks about the rise of arcades or the re-rise of arcade barcades.
Yes.
and somebody just happened to walk in where they were filming, whose favorite game was Mario Kart. Sounds like something that would happen to you. That was Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels?
Stormy Daniels, the woman who slept with President Trump.
I don't know anything about that. You're asking me legal questions now. No,
What a left turn this story just took.
But they were filming at a barcade in Tampa, and somebody had said that she was headed there, so the camera guy was ready, and that her favorite game was Mario Kart. So if you check out Token Taverns, you'll see how that played out. So I'm saying that might be a game that you might want to start a challenge on, knowing you and your personality.
Absolutely, but I got to check out this Token Taverns. It's the first time I've ever heard of it. Robert, you have a question?
Now, Billy, as a video game expert, would you say people of the same intelligence enjoy the same type of video games? So would we say, since it's Stormy's favorite video game, Dave and Stormy would be of equal?
I did not know where you were going.
I would basically say they have a similar mentality, correct?
What?
That's awesome. You're free-spirited, Dave. You could sleep with powerful people. Congratulations.
What are you
Okay,
Walter?
Dave, I'm going to make a trading card with you and Stormy on it.
My mom will disown me if you do. That card will be more it'll be worth more money than the Honus Wagner card in 5 years. Trust me. The Davey Mac Stormy Daniels card. Do you guys play any current games? Is there any current games that you fancy, or it's just, hey, you know what? I'm a classic guy.
Grab ass.
My kids get on to me because I have 5 sons, 4 of whom are adults. 1 is 12 years old, and all of them beg me to play these new console games, PS5, whatever. And me personally, I can't take it. So my kids get mad at me, but no, I don't play any current games. I make them play the old games with me.
He only wants to play games he can win at.
That's right.
Well, listen.
On that line, Steve,
yeah.
Your kids, a couple of them held their own video game records in their own right? One was a jousting champion. Or are they still
Correct.
playing the classic games as well?
Yeah, every now and then, my oldest son and I will play joust together, and we've I think I'm right that on 2 different occasions we set the world record on 5-man only doubles joust. Once was in New Jersey, and once was in Denver, I believe. Both of them were at Kong-offs.
That's awesome.
And so my kids love video games. They wish that I would play the new ones with them, but I just play the old ones.
Going back to Token Tavern, the story it kind of tells is how, using Steve as an example, what was his passion, what was his pastime growing up, what he enjoyed, what he spent so much time on, meaning arcade games. Now he's sitting in a restaurant or in a bar, he's talking, his kids are with him, and now he can turn around and he can introduce to them, what was his passion for so many years. And it introduces it to the next generation of people. It is really cool how it happens. And the joy that you see on people's face, either because they're reliving it or they're living it for the first time. We say that it's equivalent to the joy you see on somebody's face when you give them something at Christmas. It gives you a level of satisfaction.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great. Do you guys care for any more audience questions? Because we got a few sent, but I don't.
Well, you had such great ones to begin with.
Yeah, let her rip.
You can't top them. They're so
I was hoping you were going to say no. All right. Here's Mark from Brooklyn says, "Hi, Billy. Ever hear that 1982 song Pac-Man Fever? My uncle says that song is about the Vietnam War and not the video game. Either way, I just farted. Thoughts, please."
Well,
you got such great listeners, Dave.
Really bad ones.
Well, the PTSD, the P in that stands for Pac-Man. So the fact that he was in Vietnam and he's got his trouble.
Billy's he's got sound effects here, Robert.
Yeah, he's out producing me too. Man. He's a video game champ and a producer champ.
Billy's a better producer of my show than my producer.
Yeah,
all right.
But speaking of that song, Jerry Buckner, he's a friend of all of ours, and he's been a great guy, and we look forward to seeing him whenever we can at a show. He still does travel. He still does go places with his wife.
That song put him on the map.
Yeah, and he's just a great guy to spend time with. He is.
Okay, well, I like that. So the guy who did Pac-Man Fever sounds like a cool dude. You guys know everyone. You're very well connected. Here's another one. Hi, Billy. This one says Big A here. I'm not trying to freak you out, but I'm tracing your call. You have 48 hours to wire me $10,000 or I'll kill you. Okay, that is Big A. And somehow Big A sent a question and it got through our screeners. So let's not even address that at all. Okay?
You wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like it if I did address it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, here's one from Roy. Hey, Bill. Roy Harter. Oh, it's Roy Harter. Roy's saying, hey, Billy, I miss you. Miss the guys. Wish I was there.
Aw.
Well, that makes one person.
Roy says, hey, Bill, I'm an awesome Q-Bert player. My fingers make orange dick nose do all kinds of cool stuff. Okay, he's playing into the Q-Bert, the Q-Bert thing, and we're going to skip past these questions, actually. Two of them were from Roy and Andrew. Yeah, we're not doing them.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's creative enough without Q-Bert.
Walter, you might be getting nominated for a Grammy. Have you thought about that? Are we going to be releasing the music via MP3 streaming service, an album, a CD?
Oh, there's going to be albums. There's already a single that's been released. If you go to Love Stuff, arcades and lovesongs.com, you can see that people actually order my first single, which is titled Don't Give Up.
Yeah, and people who see this new movie, I think they're going to come away convinced that there will soon be a duo of Walter Day singing alongside and with Taylor Swift. It will be happening.
Oh my God, I would love for that to happen.
Well, we should explain that a little bit if I have a moment.
Go ahead, you got a moment.
At the time I was writing, someone gave me this Someone gave me this yesterday. It's a gift. It's a big Taylor Swift magazine.
Oh, so yeah.
What happened is I've been unmasked as a Swiftie, okay? And the reason I'm a Swiftie is because when I was writing my songs and getting ready for the movie and going into the studio, as a songwriter, I wanted to see what other songwriters were doing. And I found some Taylor Swift songs online. And I thought, wow, this is really good songwriting. I was impressed. This was before the Eras tour came out, the big tour. And I was thinking, I wonder if other people know about this lady.
Remember, he's 75 years old.
It was completely nuts.
Walter, you don't age, Walter. That Walter in the King of Kong, when they flash back to the Life magazine, and then you see Walter in King of Kong, and then you see Walter now, it's like, okay, what kind of vampire blood is Walter Day on?
That's great. So anyway, I was innocently thinking, oh my God, this is a great songwriter. I effused about her, talked about her in the movie, saying I found the songwriter who I really admire her qualities and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she became an integral part of the movie, and the whole idea is, see, the producers believe that she might be pulled into the web of this whole thing and actually become a participant, because I talk about in the movie how I would love to be singing a duet with her and have her sing and maybe even produce some of my songs. So
I swear to God, if this happens, this will be the greatest musical moment of my life. It'll be better than Live Aid. Okay. It'll be better than the Beatles getting back together. And as we know, that's an impossibility. So this is it.
It'll be, if it actually happens that through this incredible connectivity, Taylor Swift ends up being involved with my musical trajectory, that's going to be its own movie itself.
Think about this. I'm going to boil it down to why the haters get so jealous. You have now conquered video games, movies, music, hot sauce. So like the condiment world, law, Steve Sanders is a better lawyer from what I've been told than Matlock. Okay? They say he's like Sherlock Holmes over there. Okay? Is there any genre of American society we have yet to conquer? I mean, maybe one of you guys needs to run for governor or something.
Maybe,
Well,
maybe the buffet.
actually, the three of us have been invited to go up in the space shuttle. So,
Let's just put it this way, Dave. I think you should be happy that we've not decided to make our own podcast. That's all I'm saying.
Southside Steve, Southside Billy, Southside Walter.
We'd be so dead. Quite frankly, your podcast has more sound effects and things and drops than ours does. It is more well produced. Well, listen, you know what? Go ahead, Robert. Robert, you ask any kind of questions that you have because we're going to just get out of here.
Yeah, I was just going to ask one sports question, Billy. You've kind of become the embodiment of the bad boy of video games, a role you've adopted and people love you for it. Dave's favorite basketball team is the New York Knicks, and they have a center named Karl Anthony Towns, who's about as soft as they come.
All right.
A lot of people say he should be in the WNBA. What advice could you give him to adapt the bad boy persona like yourself and become a fan favorite?
So your question for Billy's a shot at me. Is really what this was.
That was very clear.
I'm trying to help
clear to us. It was very clear to us that he was doing a shot at you.
Walter, this is the passive aggressive thing that this kid does to me 24/7.
I just want to help you, Dave, because the Knicks have always had tough centers like Patrick Ewing.
Let's let Billy answer the question, but I saw the shot at me. You're dead for that. Go ahead, Billy.
We're talking about an NBA player whose his initials stand for cat. So, I mean, go ahead, Billy. Cat.
I don't mean to sound funny, but with all this colorful information, I kind of forgot what the question was.
I think he's just saying, how do people toughen up as video game players?
How can he adopt the role as a bad boy, kind of like you did?
Well, first of all, he could try being number one. He might be a little short of that at the moment.
Well, he's playing well. Robert's wrong. He made he's an all-star, a starter.
One time I was at Disney World in Florida. No, it was Disneyland. It was in Anaheim. And I was with some people who were sponsoring, but Billy was not there. And then suddenly the lady who was the sponsor looks up and she sees Darth Vader and Captain Hook walking towards us. And she goes, "Oh my God, I'm so disappointed. I wish Billy was here to be with him for the picture of my three favorite villains."
Hey, yeah, well, maybe I could do that. Maybe I could go to, show up at the game and go out on center court and see if I could have a little negative influence on
I think they would want that.
I like that.
All right, well, listen. You guys are the best. Would you want to promote something or give us something before we get out of here? All right?
All right, I'll go first. You and I'll message in 36 hours.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Let's convene in 36 hours. And if you give me the green light, at the very least, I will. We're going to do the show next week. It'll be on Monday for all the fans. April 7th, Monday, will be the next show. And if you give me the green light, I will report the news. And if you want to hop on, even if it's just for 5 minutes, you can. We have Bronx Johnny scheduled for April 7th, a Monday, but we would love to have you on as well, or whatever. Okay. Or just give me the news. Let me report it however you want it.
Yeah. Or I could show people how to be the bad guy. Just come on the show for 5 minutes and step on whoever's there.
I like that.
All right. What's your
Bronx
announcement?
Johnny does have weapons.
Dave, you can find me on Twitter or now X at Attorney Sanders.
At Attorney Sanders. All right. Steve Sanders, you're always great. You're such a gentleman. I don't. You come across as the kind of level-headed one between two eccentrics named Walter Day and Billy Mitchell, and someone needs to be the glue, my friend. That's you.
Yeah, science fiction. Yeah,
that's your new nickname.
Maybe I can learn from Steve.
I'm the glue guy.
All right, come on, Walter. What's your announcement?
Walter, give us
Chinese theater or something.
anything.
Okay, so once again, if anybody can make it to Southern California on April 17th, I think that's Thursday.
That's right.
April 17th, Thursday. There's going to be a premiere at Mann's Chinese Theater on Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood. And that's the famous theater with all the celebrities, A-list celebrities, put their palm prints in the cement. So this is the most prestigious theater in the world to have a premiere. So to say that we have the stars smiling on us is an understatement. And we hope everybody can come there and be part of a crowd. By the way, the producer was on the stage with me doing the question and answer at the Long Beach one of yesterday. It was the day before, rather.
Sure.
And he asked the audience, how many people have at some time held a world record on a video game with twin galaxies? And almost half the audience raised their hands.
Wow.
That's
So
so
this is like a very big, if you've ever been in love with video games, this is your celebration of the year. To come to Man's Chinese Theater and be part of the biggest gathering. It's like a gathering of the tribes celebrating the 40 years of video game prominence that we've all grown up through.
I mean, it's just a very cool honor to have a movie being played in Man's Chinese Theater. This is the theater. When you see lines for anything or anytime, you're watching news or some sort of retrospective and they want to talk about the lines for Jurassic Park, the lines for Terminator 2, the lines for Star Wars, they always show Man's Chinese Theater. It's always that because that's the most famous theater. So it's so cool that your movie's there. It's arcade and love songs, the Walter Day story.
So we should plan on doing a show with you from the time that we're there at Man's Chinese Theater.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
It's
we'll
actually
do anything with you guys.
It first shows on Thursday. It should be a double feature, King of Kong and Walter's Arcades and Love Song movie. But then again, Walter's movie is also Friday, Saturday, Sunday as well. Okay,
great. Well, listen, it's been a treat having you guys here. You guys are the best. Okay.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
And we are going to be watching this movie. We're going to be attending all the premieres when it comes out on whichever streaming service. We're told Netflix. When it comes out, we're going to be watching and downloading, and we're going to be supporting Billy Mitchell. You know we love you. We always do. You're the GOAT. Don't let these people get you down. As Chris Christopherson said to that lady, the bald lady. He said, "Don't let the bastards get you down." And that's got to be the same with Bill. Steve Sanders, you're the best. Everyone knows you. You're fantastic. Walter Day, I am so excited to hear your music. I've been listening to you, little snippets of your music because there are clips of you playing your music in, I believe, Chasing Ghosts and King of Kong.
Yeah.
But now we get to hear the full-on thing, the full-on pet sounds that goes on in Walter Day's head.
Yep.
That's right.
So
hey, Dave, you're the best. Thank you, man.
You guys are the best. And thank you so much, Billy. Thank you, Steve Sanders. Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Robert. Robert, quick plug.
Allenbury Theater this weekend.
And thank you for giving Steve his new official nickname, the Glue.
The Glue. There you go. Guys, we love you. And we're going to stay in tune for all the new exciting development and news stories that are coming out revolving around you guys. So thank you so much again. And this has been the Davey Mac Sports Program. I'm Eastside Dave McDonald. Good night, everybody.
That was cool. In fact, that was way better than
No. Wait a minute.